Well, my message is I encourage you to go into the path of totality and get ready for a treat of your lifetime that will change you. It's the most memorable. It's not something I can really answer, but because they're all great to go on an expedition to see all the eclipses and see any little bit or piece you can of the corona. But the most striking are the ones that are in totally clear skies. When that sky is crystal clear blue, all the contrast, all the elements of the phenomena, all the color to the total solar eclipse come out, and it really impresses you. It's a feast for your eyes. And you think that this is like just painted up there. It's a beautiful thing. You can't describe it. It's so large. It's in the sky. How did it get there? It's quite unimaginable. When you see it, you're feeling it. And you're like, wow, trying to put it all together. What's going on? The feeling that you get after seeing one is fantastic. It just stays with you for so long. You're in a state of euphoria. And the celebration, I mean, there's no problems in the world after that when you experience that. You say, what a treat you just had. It all goes away. It doesn't last forever, but it lasts for that moment, and it's really something. It really is something. And everyone, they don't know what they're in store for when the millions of people who could potentially see this if we have clear skies in these areas. It will be very impressive. Very impressive. And they will be having to explain it with their family and friends across the nation who only were able to see a partial eclipse, which really is not a comparison at all. Now, watching a stickball game versus a Major League Baseball game, it's not even comparison in any way. By taking the pictures, you're not capturing it. You think you are. It's sort of it's a reaction. You need to let go, and then just soak it in with your eyes. Soak it in. Turn on the memory machine in your brain and say, record. Record in your brain, full speed, get a full HDR recording in your brain, take it with you, because there are going to be a million pictures to look at after and say, yep, that's what I saw. No, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like that. There's going to be millions to look at. People are going to be snapping away. And I've made this mistake myself that I didn't stop to look. So resist the temptation to take pictures and suck it in. It's only going to be 2 minutes. Memorize it, take it in, look at it, share it with your friends, be excited with them, and do it together. That's it. That's all I have to say. The only thing I can say is take a selfie of yourself in totality with yourself smiling. If you can do that, of yourself, not of the sun. Take a selfie of yourself with your friends. That'll be memorable if you're in totality. That's all you should be doing. And no flashes. No flashes. You don't want flash. You want to show the darkness. You want the darkness. Yep. That's right. No flashes. Well, if you're in the path of totality, first and foremost is the safety. Don't be tempted to look at the sun when it's partially eclipsed. You want to have safe solar filters or use a projection method, whether it's a pinhole projection or an optical device like binoculars or a telescope or monocular, where you project the image of the sun through the optical device onto a piece of white oak tag or some paper or wall. And that's just as good seeing it that way as looking directly at it with a filter. I mean, it's a substitute because there's a shortage of filters. So that is for the partial phases for everyone in the United States, because they will have a partial eclipse. So that goes all the country over. But when totality happens, you can remove glasses or stop looking at the filters. You'll see a real increase in darkening as you approach it. And then there's a thing called a diamond ring, which is this last bit of sunlight that's only a couple of seconds, and you watch that light extinguish. You can watch that safely with your eye. So that last little bit, it's not strong enough to do anything for that 1 second. It will go out. It's gorgeous. The corona is already appearing because it's so dark. The light of the sun can no longer compete with the covering of the moon. So the moon's taking over, and it just says, sunlight out, and you get to see what the sun looks like. It's really showing itself. And you have this darkness, and it's going to last, from 2 minutes to 2 minutes 30 seconds on average, all the way across the United States. And these 12 million people, plus the 5 million people who are going to come in, could potentially be treated to this gorgeous thing with no filters. Again, perfectly safe to look at, even look at with optical devices. It is gorgeous, perfectly safe, the corona. It's as bright as the full moon. All the planets will come out, Jupiter, Venus, and I think Mercury, and Yeah, Mars maybe, and so you'll see those and stars like Regulus and such like that. They'll come out. Plus the redness all around the horizon if you're on the center line. If you're on the edge, you're going to get protracted Baily's beads, and that will be like real sparkling things going on, a lot of movement. But it's really cool to see, but it'll be much shorter. So you get quality on the edge, but you get a shorter time. In the central line, you get less of that effect, but you get more, you're bathed in darkness for longer. So there's a trade-off no matter where you go, but just getting into the path of totality is important. And this has been an argument we've been trying to convince people who are only 10 miles away. I mean, you could walk there. We can't emphasize enough what it's like to go in the difference. It's really like the difference between stepping on the planet and just seeing it. You know, if you go to Mars and orbit it or go standing on it, that's the difference. Walk and get into that path. Don't be at the 99.9% because it doesn't count. Only 100% counts. That's where the switch turns on and you see it. It's all the difference.